Hello everybody, this is another 6-minute video, and this is going to be Homelabbing Part 2, which I am going to share with everybody what I have learned, and this is not just for the benefit of the people that are watching this video, but is also to the benefit of me, because teaching is one of the best ways of learning myself. If you're teaching someone, it is also a great way for you to absorb the material that you are going to learn. But anyway, let's get right into it. I do these 6-minute videos, and I'm doing them for the rest of this year. I'm publishing these for my efficiency at speaking and getting better at public speaking. And it's not really for fame, it's not for views, it's not for subscribers. If you do subscribe, I would not mind that one bit. But as I have been getting into the Homelabbing space, we have gotten very, very good at letting the process just unfold, right? I have a goal and I want to do things, but I also need to keep in mind that it's not always going to happen immediately, which that's fine. And it's taken a little while for me to get that, but you know, it's also very important to remember as I'm going through these things, like, okay, when I'm installing these apps, when I'm installing these containers and these VMs, I need to get everything, the codependencies, the stuff needed to be installed before I install the big things first. I need to watch out for that and just keep in mind that I need to just stay grounded with that. I'm going to upgrade my stock market. Oh, profits down. No. But as I'm saying, this is going to be the second video, and I don't really know what to talk about because I want to break down things in a way that people can understand them. But how do you even do that? Just like, how do you do that? I don't know. Let's see here. Not almost 10%, 3%, 6.62, 6.1, 63% of your total CPS. Wow. All right, let's see here. Fractal engines. Let's upgrade fractal engines. Boom. 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 Very good. 63.6. Oh, that number is not going up. Let me see here. Prisms, cursors. Okay, I think it's cursors that are the big ones. Let's try to upgrade cursors. Cursors. Boom. Oh, yeah, that's the big one. Okay. So after I'm upgrading my cursors here, I'm going to try to break it down in a good way. I am stalling for time, absolutely. This is going to be the worst video that I've ever done by far. Anyway, I am wanting to get this home lab done relatively soon because I've been sitting on it for a very, very long time. And what I have learned is that I need to, as I said, be patient with the process. I am building a much larger thing than my brain can possibly comprehend right now, and just keep with the process and keep going at it. And I think it's been doing really, really well. What I want to say is, after I think last video was teaching about what VMs and containers are. Well, I've learned what Docker is, I've learned what Jellyfin is, I've learned what all these applications and containers do, but my next step is trying to learn what Docker was. And my goodness, I could never get a good explanation what Docker is. And if there's anybody out there that's wondering what is Docker, and if you've ever heard that before, if you haven't, don't worry. It's not something you necessarily need to worry about until you get into Homelabbing. But Docker is this thing where you install it on your application, or not your application, but your operating system, And basically what it does is it takes all the discrepancies, the nastiness, the the non-standard, just, yeah, I'll say discrepancies again, but just things that don't really make sense about containers and applications that you download from people. And what it does, I'll just make myself big here. And what it does is it quantifies that in a tiny little file, and that tiny little file rules how that container app is supposed to run. And through that text file, it is a very efficient way of running things. VM runs a whole bunch of stuff. It is supposed to be a complete package. Container runs maybe like a calculator or something. A Docker runs that calculator in a VM every single time. And that's the best way I can put it. Because you always have Windows. Well, you don't always have Windows, but for the sake, you always have Windows. And I'll give it a logo here. See, there's Windows. There's your friendly little logo. It's a terribly written drawing, but there you always have Windows as an operating system. Let's just say that you do. So, man, I'm being a really bad example of this, but this is why I'm trying to get better at it. I am trying to get better at this, and being the first time I'm teaching this, I have no idea what I'm doing, to be honest, but carry on. You always have Windows as an operating system, and a container, well, the Windows always runs applications. It can just do all that stuff, no problem. A container runs a single application. I mean, it can run more, but its main purpose really is to just run one, maybe two applications at the same time. There's not a lot to click on the app. There's nothing to click on these containers. There's no buttons, no screen. It's just running the code. That's really what it is. Docker runs that code as well. Docker says, all right, we are running this code, and you can put it on Windows, and it says, all right, we are running this code in Windows, right? But what if you put it on a Mac? Not good. Or maybe a phone. When you transfer that app, that container, over to different operating systems, it would say, wait a second, what am I doing? Break. And it just breaks. It stops working. What Docker does is it allows to, it gives like an umbrella. And this is a terrible written drawing, I know, but it gives a little umbrella and it covers the app. And wherever that app, I decide where to put that app, Docker basically makes it so it's a self-fulfilling container that it always works in every single situation, every single time. That's why Docker is one of the best things to ever be created in the Homelabbing space, because if I ever needed to move anything, it would be so easy. This has been a terrible video. This is probably one of the worst videos I've done in months, ever since starting the channel. Thank you for watching. See ya.